So today, and we have also seen invoice exception. So invoice exception will control majority part of the invoice reconciliation process in a real time. So earlier days, when invoices come, invoice agent or clerical agent has to verify whether there is a sufficient PO and the PO was active or if it is not received, and there is not a duplicate invoice. And also they will make sure that they have received that item to make the payment. Any questions? Okay, those are all automated process. Now through invoice exception, Ariba will try to scrutinize your invoice based on lot of parameters. It will verify whether there is a sufficient PO balance is open PO is available, and also it verifies again on currency basis whether the supplier currency, purchase order currency and invoice currency matches, whether we are allowed to accept, or we can decide whether the two-way match or three-way match has happened. Many factors will be verified. You can decide on what documents you want to do the verification also, whether you want to do only on purchase orders or only non-PO orders. That configuration can be done at the invoice exception types. So that will control your documents coming, invoicing documents coming in your company. So now again, after invoicing manager, when you go to manage core administration, you will go to the procure to manager. You will see receiving types by commodity codes. Now you are aware what is a two-way match and a three-way match. Two-way match means invoice is verified with your purchasing order document or a contract document. If it is having sufficient amount available in that PO, it will make a payment. For example, if PO was created for $1,000, already one invoice is received for $500. When next invoice is come, it will just verify up to 500. If the invoice is there, it is ready to make a payment. It will not validate whether that service or a material has been received by the receiving department. So that is a two-way match. If you are enabling three-way match, then that is validated against receipt of purchasing document, whether sufficient receipt has been posted or not. If there is no posting, it will inform the receiving department to accept the invoice or nothing but the material or services provided in the invoice so that they can clear the payment. That is three-way match. That is you can able to control in receiving types by commodity codes. So there are two ways you can control receiving types. One is by commodity code, one is by part number. Part number is the least one, the supplier part number. You can able to decide it based on the part number, how you want the receiving control has to be there. Commodity code is nothing but your material groups. At what level you want to do the commodity types, you can able to do that. I will click on list all to show what are all our active configurations which we are having and what is okay. Now you can see receiving types. There are many receiving type options are there. So no receipt required, reconcile by quantity. In this case, system, when you are configuring this for a particular commodity code, then you don't need a receiving. Automatically, the system will qualify by reconcile by the quantity. Quantity mentioned on invoice, quantity mentioned in purchase order, it will reconcile. No receipt required, reconcile by amount. Instead of checking by quantity, it will check by the PO amount or invoice amount. Here, it will do an auto receipt also. There is a functionality. You don't need to perform receipt. For example, is a service like electricity bill. How can you receive that one? There is no point of validating invoice. Electricity bill comes means you just pay only. There is no way to accept that service or something. In that case, you can create auto receipt for the invoices, making sure that the process is done by the system to say auto reconciliation. Auto receipt on charge reconciliation, reconcile by quantity. What will happen? Charge reconciliation means in invoice reconciliation, the charge is nothing but your invoice amount. When they do the reconciliation, system will post a automated receipt. Auto receipt on a due date. In that case, if you mention the purchase order due date, based on the due date, for example, current bill or electricity bill, it will due at the previous period, 30th or 31st of that month. As soon as the date is come, Ariba posts a goods receipt and waits for an invoice. Auto received on an invoice, reconcile by quantity. Or when invoice is received, you just post a auto receipt. Auto receipt on invoice or charge reconcile by quantity. So there are many options are available. Manual receipt received by quantity. In this case, we want the user to do perform a receiving by quantity. Manual receipt using milestone tracker. Auto receipt, auto repeats, all these manual receipt received by amount. Anyway, so now these are all the receiving types available in Ariba, which is more than enough to control it. Now the combination which we are controlling is commodity code for particular commodity code and what is the method of receiving. For example, paper products of 1411 manual received by quantity. When you receive an invoice for this commodity code, it accept manual receipt and received by quantity has to match. Asset data, even for this type of receiving is done, then we expect the asset data to be provided by the supplier. You want to see what are all others which is not active, you can click on no. If you are either, all the list will be displayed here. The filters, asset data required also, if that is customization done for this customer. So whenever they do a receipt, they want to provide asset data, then you can include that. Maybe for capital expenditure, you can use this option. For others, you don't need the asset data. How do we make changes to an existing setup? So these are all active ones. I clicked on yes. Now, asset data is required only for, let's select any of the capital expenditure. Okay, let's say cleaning equipment and supplies. When this is done, maybe this is not computer aided manufacturing CM software. Yeah. This is a capital expenditure, computer aided manufacturing CAM software. This is the commodity code, auto receipt on due date, received by quantity. I want to edit some changes, click on edit. Anyway, since it is a software, they are accepting auto receipt on due date and received by quantity. Threshold amount. This is again good feature where up to 100,000 only this methodology will go. After, if it is more than that, then system will not perform auto receipt. It will wait for receiving only. If you're clicking asset data, then it will ask for an asset data when you are processing that invoice. Conditions. Again, you can add another. So in this case, I want to change to manual receipt. Why? Because I want manual receipt by quantity, not manual receipt by quantity. I want by amount because softwares are amount based. And I also want asset data is required whenever I'm performing activity on this receipt. We can set for the item which are manually received by quantity. Okay. Okay. Only this is allowed only at the by quantity time only if I'm doing, I will be expecting the asset. Yeah. Should be countable. That is the reason they have put this condition. Like this you can do, or you can also create a new by clicking on new, entering Ariba management SAP, Ariba spend management. External means it is coming from outside. Manually maintained, we will be selecting Ariba manage. Manually maintained and Ariba manage both the same only. Commodity code, for which commodity code you want to create, I will select computers. I want manually setting for computers. Okay, computer changes when I'm receiving for this commodity code. Okay, UNSP code, computer changes. Asset data not required, but I want this to be done manual received by quantity. Okay, so I'll click on save. This is how you can define your receiving types in Ariba. Then receiving type by part number. Here I am select my method will be on commodity code. It will be a part number in receiving type by part number. Just all. You can see this is supplier specific also. So I'll create a new to understand more. So for which supplier? So part numbers are specific for suppliers only. I will select, let's select any supplier, ABC supplier. From ABC supplier, if the part number is C1234 description, what I'm going to get from this supplier and with this part number, consumable. But printing machinery. I'm just randomly giving. There is a consumable item which comes for a printing machinery. If you are ordering by this part number, then I will say ABC part number ABC 1234. This is the part number. This is the description. I want to perform manual received by quantity. Okay. I will create. So here the deciding factor is when I receive an item with this part number, the system will stop me and ask me to enable manual receipt. So this way also you can configure your receiving times. Any doubts? Okay. Now let's say payment methods. List all. If you want to add any other payment method, you can add. It is very simple. Create new. You can give unique ID and name of this thing. So preference rank will be there are multiple payment methods. Which one will take the priority? Electronic payment, preferred payment, payment method as check, bank, credit card, direct, or something, whatever you want to provide. Click on cancel and canceling it. Let's view any one of the cash payment. Okay. Edit. You can see electronic payment as no and payment method as cash. If you want to change, you can able to change also. This way you can add multiple payment methods using this Ariba on screen. Payment terms. This is payment method and this is payment terms. Payment terms generally comes from your ERP system. Whatever the payment terms you are maintaining in Ariba, you can maintain here. I never worked on this. Let me see what is NT60. NT60. Yeah, even we don't see also. Generally, payments will come from your ERP system only. We don't generally maintain in Ariba. Bank location. These are something new. What's new document manager settings? So now I will be talking about data dictionary. Now, if you remember, in some cases we use data input and export option to bring in data from your external system. But I do not know what fields are compulsory, what fields are not compulsory, what I'm supposed to enter in that particular field. So in any of the places where you are going to export and do this thing, you want to get understand of more, then you use the option called download data dictionary. Some people refer to this as a Bible of Ariba spend management configuration. Okay, in Site Manager, data import export, if you're clicking, whoever having access to Site Manager, they can only see this download data dictionary. The person who don't have Site Manager access, they will not able to see. And this is a what I call dynamic dictionary. So based on your settings from a company, automatically that will get updated. For example, later you have created a custom field in one of the contract management module. Okay, then that field will automatically get updated in your data download dictionary. So data dictionary it will get updated. You don't have to manually maintain, and Ariba has to do a process or job process to update this dictionary. So this will get updated immediately. So you can use the latest version also, and this will change from company to company. So you cannot use this for other companies also. Again, based on your configuration. So if you're having SLP configuration, downstream configuration, this will change. This will give you all the details which your company is using, including integrations also. So you can refer this file and get into detail. So I'm downloading the dictionary. Dictionary. Opening. Yes, I can. screen here. Yeah, data dictionary. So this is the file. You will be having multiple sheets with this. Right click on the page navigation. Then go to the last page, which is at the bottom. We'll see indexes. Click on that, click on OK. Then you will be having all the task details, which we want more details about how you can do this. Let's select one thing, supplier import payment terms maybe. So when I want to import payment terms, export payment terms, import payment as a consolidated file, I'll click on that file, sorry, that link. It will take me to the relevant page. So this is the file which you want to prepare. It will give you the name, import payment terms data, consolidated file. It will give the task details. So whatever in Ariba, that is each one will be called as a task. It will define the payment terms which are used to specify the time period in supplier request payments and discount, blah, blah, blah. And the file name, what is supposed to be the file name, payment terms consolidated CSV. Now you will be seeing these fields. So what is your default fields? Description, name, unique name, installment percentage, installment number, discount, discount type, pay in days. So these are your column names. You can ignore this new field column. Mostly it is same only. While Ariba doing a migration, they have replicated it. This is same only. You will be selecting field name. And this is also same only, field name only, field column name and field name. Maybe in some cases, rarely cases, you will find a difference here. Okay, now field description. Each item will be described. A user visible description for the payment term. What is the name? A user visible name for the payment term. Unique name. Unique name has to be unique. As it mentioned, the file has to be unique only. So what values are accepted in this thing? Multi-language string. This is a text field. This is string, only you are able to enter up to 50 characters of length, big decimal, string, big decimal, integer. So what type of string it is and how much is the limit? Sample values. It can be having something like due immediately. Okay, these are all sample values. You can correct also. String unique name will be 00. Installment percentage 1. Discount is 3%. Payment term is 14 days. For example, whether these columns are required. So you need to provide a description. Yes. Name also yes. Unique name also yes. Installment percentage also. Here it is not mentioned. So you can skip also. You don't need to maintain values. Then this place also. Paying days also you can allow null. Whether you can allow value as a null value. If it is no, then you cannot accept zeros values. Sorry, a null value. You need to have certain value in this particular field. Okay, now I will just show you this file in your Ariba also. Payment, import payment terms. I'll go to Ariba. There is no way to cancel. Main is administration. Payment terms will be in downstream. Data import and export. I'm searching the task name, import payment terms consolidated file. This is the file. So how do you import? Once you know the details, you can click on import. Then system will ask you what you are going to perform. Whether you are going to perform a load, creates and modifies objects in the values. If object in the import file does not exist, object is created. You read this file. Always I suggest whenever you're doing activity, read this for. It might change for certain task. If the object is already existing, it will not. It is modified using the values. So if the object is not there, it will create. If it exists, it will modify also. Create. So suppose you just want to load only, you can create new objects in the file. If it is existing, it is not modified also. Then if it is missing, it will load it. If it is there, it will not correct it. But if you use the load, even it will update the bolder records also. In the third case, modifies existing values, but it will not create any new record. You use that option. deactivate certain times where, for example, users, we cannot delete them. We can make them as a deactivate. We can do that. You choose the file, whatever the file you have prepared, you see the name of the file also, and it has to be in CSV file format. Then you click on run by taking one of the action. I'm just canceling it. I will show you the sample file. So majority of the cases, the same file will be available for your export with current data. Anyway, this is only for import purpose. There is not export is available. Okay. Export payment terms consolidated. I'm just clicking on export. Click on OK. Save. Open. Payment term. Now you see these are all the values in your payment file. Okay, you can see. Now you want to find out default. What is default? What is name, unique name, description, discount type, pay in days, discount, installment percentage, installment number. Now we'll go to the data dictionary file. You see these fields are you are seeing in Ariba also, discount and discount type. Now I'll go back to the same indexes. If you want to see any other information, maybe I will select user data. User data consolidated file is generally where your user data comes in. Mostly you will be having unique name, which is nothing but, for example, buyer 7, BUYR7 will be a unique name. Password adapter. So there are multiple password adapters. If you are using single sign-on, you need to provide what is the methodology to log in the detail, name of the user, email address, job ID, whatever the field column names you are able to find. Supervisor, who is the supervisor for this particular unique name, or supervisor's password adapter, alternative email address of the user, purchasing unit, billing address, SAP plan, approval, cost center, default cost center for the customer. All these things can be maintained in your user file. Whether the fields are required or not, you are going to see here. Majority will be false only. You don't need to enter any information. Wherever true, you need to provide that information. So you can also see the sample values. Agassi password adapter, Alex Agassi will be the username, email address. In this case, since it is a false, he has not provided any values. Wherever true, you need to provide the values. Is it clear? On the data dictionary. So if you have a time, go to it, and since you are having access, you download the data dictionary, read some of these files to better understand what is being used in your current system. Internal order, cost centers. Anything you can see from data dictionary. We are good. We are going with commodity codes. Commodity codes is nothing but your SAP's commodity codes. So Ariba uses UNSP SC commodity codes. Whatever you are seeing here, that is UNSP commodity code. Commodity code mapping will be done from one-to-one mapping. So suppose UNSP code is coming as a BOB01. In what is our commodity code mapping has to be done. So that is what you are going to maintain. This commodity code or custom commodity codes are user specific. For example, I want to select from UNSP. I want to select my custom. Whatever the combination, the UNSP code of this one, 4412, will belong to KH1234 of our client. You can also create new ones by using, click on create new. Create, if there is not a mapping is available, you can do that. So party sheet commodity codes is nothing but your material groups in your supplier ERP system, whatever the material groups. So you need to have a commodity code mapping between standard Ariba codes to your ERP commodity code description. Partition commodity code maps will give you, this is basically your material group. This is your material group mapping. So furniture, and for example, I will select this one. So realm external commodity code description, partition commodity code description, account type is capital. This will have additional information. When this particular commodity code is using, what kind of a commodity code it select, capital, company code, to which company code this is mapped, what is the category, it is a material or service, account category is A, what is the minimum and maximum amount set up for this partition commodity code. I will also show you one more place where you are going to see this commodity code mapping. Same way, import and export. Import commodity. So here, import system commodity codes. This is done only one time when we are importing Ariba implementation. That time you are going to create this one. Import ERP commodity code to, this is also called as a semi-file. ERP commodity code to commodity code. Material group to your commodity code mapping. So let's export this one, ERP commodity code to commodity code. Export. Click on export. Click on OK. All the sources I'm updating. This file generally will come across in your production system also. Commodity export map file. Let's select this. Okay. So material group, your ERP material group, common ID. Okay. So Alt D FF filter. I'll go to the commodity mapping. I will select, these are all your levels. Okay, so this is my common ID or commodity code, which will be mapped to 10001, Z cruise 1002. There are T types. One is expense category, order category, expense category. This has been linked to commodity code AP00 1010 1710. The commodity code description says UNSPSC code, which will be mapped to this material group. And for this company code, whether set category. What? I will show you here. DMS. Actually, we will be having DM only. Someone has created a S also. Anyway. So M stands for material. So whenever you are having purchasing this commodity code, for example, if you have started purchasing from this commodity code, when you are creating a PR, when you are selecting this commodity code, automatically it will assign to this particular material group in your ERP system. And system expects this to be of a material. You should not be using service. For example, if I select this one, code. Okay. So you should allow what type of a category should be allowed. You can give M means material. If it is service, you should give D. So expense type material. Then on the right hand side, what type of accounting information? It accept cost center. You cannot decide. Once I select this commodity code and the material type will be material, and I will be deciding whether it is a cost center purchase or internal order purchase, WBS purchase. If you try to process without cost center, then system will stop you. This material code is expecting a cost center detail. If you are creating with some other internal order or something, then system will stop you and ask for a cost center detail. Once you select, again, this is only mapped to this particular commodity and this particular bill too. If you're changing also, it will stop or it will give a problem when you're submission time. So you need to maintain the details here. What is allowed commodity for this particular type of commodity? What is the accounting information is collected. So whenever you're creating a PR, you randomly select a material commodity code, then system is not allowing to proceed. You come here and verify the SEMI file, which is also called commodity export mapping file. Enter your material item which you are entering here. Find out whether that has been extended to the company code which you are using. If it is extended, and find out what is the accounting information which is used. If these three wages are matching, the system will allow you to proceed with submission of your PR. As a practice time, whenever you are doing, if you are getting this error, try to use the values from this file to take the material commodity code of this one and use the company code of this one and accounting information of this one. Then you should be able to clear or submit your purchase requisition. So this is your commodity code which you want to export. You need to import this commodity code. If it is missing, then you need to maintain that commodity code mapping. Is it clear? You can give a test also by adding some commodity codes which you know. Try to import and see the file which is loading or not. Here you will not. Here UI you are able to create directly by clicking on create new type of commodity code which you want to create. You provide the name. It is a custom. I will just put the name as 45 name 4523 and name as the furniture. Fitting. What is the parent group? I need to select. It should be 45 generally. ID. It does not have 45. Let's say independent of not. Then search. And I'm searching with furniture. Furniture fitting 4523 custom. So you can create a mapping also. So create new. This is through the UI which you are doing. Domain from custom, value from 4523. And domain to what will be the relevant commodity code. I don't know, some is UNSP code. Then I will select search mode. So furniture, I will search for furniture commodity. So here, furniture fittings, storage, closet, manufacturing services. Yeah. Click on save. This way, I am creating a mapping between custom codes to UNSP codes. Now I want to map this to my list new. In mapping, mapping has to be done here. You can do mapping of your commodity codes from, and you can give what type of services are performed. Asset, company code and other detail. Or you can go to data import and export. Now, if you try to export your commodity code, you should see the one which you have just created. If you are getting any doubt on this thing, you can go to the data dictionary. Okay, data dictionary, commodity codes. Yeah. Export commodity code, internal mapping and other things. I want to use import commodity codes. Import commodity codes. Import ERP commodity codes. So this is very simple file. Unique name, name and description. This is all it needs. Field column name, unique name. This is the display name. The backend, this is your material. KL will be your unique name. It gives you the details also. A SAP material group code. MATKL will be your SAP material group code. The user visible name for SAP material group code. The user visible description for the SAP material group code. Name and description you need to provide. And whether true, and these two cases null, you can accept sample values. 001 metal processing. This is commodity code where they are creating. The length can be 50 digits only of your commodity. Description can be no restriction.